Two states, living side by side in peace and security. These words from President Barack Obama represent what many consider the solution to the century-long Middle East conflict. Washington supports it. Europe supports it. The UN and international community vociferously agree. Successive Israeli governments have shown support for this idea, yet there has always been only one holdout. The story begins in April 1920, when the League of Nations appointed Britain as the mandatory power in Palestine, committed to establishing a Jewish national home. But they were repeatedly confronted with violent Arab opposition, which they consistently tried to appease. As early as March 1921, they severed the vast territory east of the Jordan River from the prospective Jewish home, making Abdullah its ruler. In 1922 and 1930, British white papers limited Jewish immigration and imposed harsh restrictions on land sales to Jews. But the violence mounted, reaching its peak in the late 1930s Arab revolt against both British rule and Jewish immigration. In July 1937, this violence achieved its greatest reward when the British Peel Commission recommended abandoning the mandate altogether. Instead, the commission proposed partitioning Palestine into an Arab state occupying 85% of the territory and a Jewish state in the remainder, while the Zionist leadership gave half-hearted support, hoping half a loaf is better than no bread. Arab governments and Palestinian Arab leadership dismissed it out of hand, with only Abdullah seeing it as a stepping stone to his empire. The same pattern repeated in November 1947 when the UN General Assembly voted to partition Palestine as the British mandate expired. Rejecting the plan altogether, Arab nations attempted to gain the whole by destroying the nascent state of Israel at birth. This time, Arab violence backfired. Israel confirmed its independence and controlled wider territories than the UN had assigned. The results hardly won Arabs over to the two-state solution. Instead, Arab states manipulated the Palestinian cause to their own ends. Jordan annexed the West Bank in April 1950, while Egypt kept Gaza under oppressive military rule. No Palestinian self-determination was permitted. No new Palestinian leadership was allowed to emerge. Only after Israel's conquest of these territories in the 1967 Six-Day War and UN Resolution 242 would their future become central. Nobody then envisaged a two-state solution. Palestinian nationhood was rejected by the entire international community, including Arab states. As late as 1974, Syrian President Assad openly called Palestine a basic part of southern Syria. The Palestine Liberation Organization, established in 1964 at Egypt's initiative, would change this through sustained terror. Most notably the massacre of 11 Israeli athletes at the 1972 Munich Olympics, the PLO established itself as a key player. In 1974, Arafat became the first non-state leader to address the UN General Assembly, despite the PLO's commitment to Israel's destruction. In June 1974, the PLO adopted a phased strategy to seize whatever territory Israel ceded as a springboard for further gains. Arafat's second-in-command declared, "A Palestinian state on any part of Palestine is but a step toward the whole." He pledged to liberate Palestine inch by inch from the sea to the river, meaning Israel's complete elimination. Despite this, Israel's Labor government entered peace negotiations, signing the 1993 Oslo Accords for Palestinian self-rule. But Arafat had other plans. He told an Israeli journalist the accords meant Israel and Palestine will be one united state. Israel would cease to exist. Even as he shook Rabin's hand, Arafat assured Palestinians this was merely implementing the PLO's phase strategy. The Palestinian Authority launched sustained racial hatred campaigns portraying Israelis and Jews as the source of all evil. Palestinians were indoctrinated in Israel's illegitimacy and taught there was no Jewish connection to the land. Arafat built extensive terrorist infrastructure, violating the accords and defying the purpose of Palestinian presence there. In July 2000 at Camp David, Prime Minister Ehud Barak offered Arafat virtually the entire West Bank and Gaza, plus breathtaking concessions on Jerusalem. Arafat's response was war, launching the Second Intifada with violence unmatched since 1948. Despite clear evidence the PLO had no interest in statehood, the international community condemned Israel's defensive measures. Even after Arafat's death and Hamas's 2006 election victory, is there a fundamental distinction between Hamas and Fatah regarding two states? Neither faction formally accepts Israel's right to exist. Both are committed to its eventual destruction. In May 2005, Abbas described Israel's establishment as unprecedented injustice, and vowed never to accept it. At the 2007 Annapolis conference, Abbas rejected Olmert's offer of a Palestinian state in 97% of the West Bank and all of Gaza. He categorically dismissed recognizing Israel as a Jewish state, insisting instead on full right of return, Israel's demographic destruction. When Netanyahu accepted a two-state solution in 2009, the Arab world exploded in rage, calling it peace scuppering. At Fatah's 2009 Congress in Bethlehem, delegates reaffirmed their commitment to armed struggle until the Zionist entity is eliminated. Even as Abbas publicly mouths Obama's formula, he insists on preconditions impossible for Israel to accept. The Peel Commission was right. Partition offers each side what it wants most: freedom and security. It's a great historical irony that this solution has been repeatedly advanced by Europeans, Americans, and Israelis, in response to actions by its most implacable opponents, who then proceed to repudiate it in word and deed. Not a single Palestinian leader has ever truly embraced the two-state idea or acted to implement it genuinely. Nearly 2 decades after Oslo, the lesson remains: so long as Palestinian leadership continues as before, there will be no two-state solution.